What is up, everybody? This is your guy Kalai, and welcome back to Budget Buys. And today we're going to be taking a look at the MageGee MK-Mini, which just so happens to be the cheapest 60% mechanical keyboard that I can find as of the recording of this video. And I'm not just talking about those on Amazon, I'm also including sites like AliExpress and Wish in that. Well, at least when it comes to keyboards that you can get shipped to the United States for a reasonable price. There are no doubts in my mind that you can find a lower cost keyboard in other markets, just not those where the majority of my viewers reside. Now, I came across this keyboard while doing research for a follow-up to my previous video, which was the Ubbie YK61, aka the MageGee TS91, RedThunder K62, DGG K60, or HXSJ V700, which is a 60% membrane keyboard. Now, I only paid $14 for the Ubbie version, but the price has been fluctuating a bit since I posted that video, so the price can go anywhere from $13 to $18. That being said, it seems all of those other manufacturers I mentioned have actually been dropping their price on that model, so instead of being like $23 to $25, a lot of them are only charging $17, so you might want to take a look. If that catches your interest and you want to know more about that keyboard but haven't watched my review, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to that down in the description below. Now, if you're wondering why I went on that tangent, well, in that video, I mentioned that I would review the MageGee TS92, which is a wireless version of that keyboard. And while checking out MageGee's shop, I came across this. And the really funny part is, at the time I found it, this mechanical keyboard was the exact same price as the wireless membrane keyboard, both coming in at $26.99. However, since I bought this keyboard, the price has actually dropped on the mechanical, not the wireless membrane. So you can actually pick up this 60% mechanical keyboard for $25 for the black model or $23 for either the white or the pink model. As for me, I got the black version. Admittedly, I wanted to get the white model mainly due to the fact that my collection of 60% mechanical keyboards is getting kind of monochromatic, but this one matches the MageGee mouse I'm going to be using in my thumbnail. Alright, let's go ahead and address the question most of you are probably asking yourself. Why is this keyboard cheaper than a membrane keyboard in the same form factor? And there are multiple reasons for this. First and foremost being the fact that this is not a wireless keyboard, unlike the Lushujun DK61 I reviewed a while back. Side note, that keyboard is no longer the $45 I originally paid for it, instead going for like $35 or $36 right now. You can also sometimes find a $4 off coupon available. You might want to take a look at it. Instead, this is a wired keyboard that just so happens to have a detachable USB Type-C cable, which I might as well go ahead and plug in. Fortunately, this keyboard did come with a nice 2-meter long USB 2.0 cable with a Type-C connector, which really is all you're going to need for a keyboard, but what kind of keyboard enthusiast would I be if I didn't use a custom cable? So let me go ahead and plug that in and show you the other reasons why this keyboard is so cheap. Also, if you're wondering about the chainmail USB cable, yes, I am working on a tutorial video. Number 2 on the list of reasons why this keyboard is so cheap is the fact that these LEDs are monochrome. You're only going to be getting this blue color on both the black and white keyboards, or white LEDs on the pink keyboard. Of course, the next tier of 60% mechanical keyboards that starts at about $30 to $32, while it does have multicolor LEDs, those two are technically monochromatic. They will not change colors. Instead, you're going to get a different color of LED per line, while not really getting any more advantages due to the fact that those also typically strip out wireless connectivity. And to be perfectly honest, if I had to choose between monochrome blue and a different color of LED per line, I'm going to choose the monochrome blue. The third reason why this keyboard is so cheap has to do with the type of switches used. Not only are you limited to just one type of switch, in this case being blue clicky switches, but they're also not name brand. While it's obvious this keyboard wouldn't be using Cherry, it also doesn't use switches like Gateron or Altimu. Instead, it uses switches made by a company whose name I am probably going to butcher, but let's give it a shot. I want to say it's Jixian, but I'm probably getting that incorrect. Of course, as an English speaker, I also kind of want to pronounce it as Jixian, but I know that's most likely incorrect, and I know Jixian is right out. Also, this keyboard is a bit lighter than other mechanicals that I've used in this form factor, mainly due to the fact that it doesn't need to worry about a battery pack. Off camera, I weighed both this keyboard and the Lushu Jun I showed you earlier, and while the Lushu Jun comes in at around 543 grams, this one is only about 468 grams. However, this keyboard does have one thing the Ubbie and Lushu Jun keyboards don't have, and that is feet here on the bottom. In fact, it's got two sets of feet. Not only does it have the large set that you would probably expect on a keyboard, but it also has a smaller set. I just thought that was kind of neat. Now, before I go to the light and sound test, I do want to talk about the function keys on this keyboard because it kinda has a smaller selection than even the membrane keyboard I reviewed last time. Now, while it has the expected F keys on the number row as well as the tilde on the escape key, this time, thankfully, escape is the default instead of the tilde. Just like the keyboard in my previous video, it doesn't have all of these things like print screen, scroll lock, or any of that block. And strangely enough, it doesn't even have delete. At least the membrane keyboard had delete on backspace. As for the other function keys that actually are included, backslash allows you to change what your lighting mode is. You adjust your LED's brightness by using either semicolon or apostrophe to decrease or increase it, respectively, while you control the LED speed by using comma and period to slow it down and speed it up. Also, if you hit function and Windows, it will lock the Windows key while also turning off that LED. Last but not least, if you hold down function and hit W, you change W, A, S, and D to your arrow keys, and they will stay like that until you press function and W again. Also, before I move over to the light test, I should go ahead and point out that while this is not a function key combination, the caps lock key will always be lit up if caps lock is off, but if caps lock is on, the LED turns off. That's just kind of odd, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense due to the fact that 9 times out of 10, your caps lock is not going to be on, and you're not going to want that LED turned off when you've got all of your other LEDs on. Now let's go on to the lighting and sound demos. Now what's surprising is that even though this keyboard is monochromatic, it still has 20 different light modes. And those are solid, most of the gaming keys lit up, the standard breathing function, the key's LED turning off when it's hit and then slowly turning back on, a wipe to the right, a wipe to the left, multiple wipes to the right, a wipe from the left and the right meeting, a ring of light coming from the key that you hit, the entire row lighting up when you hit a key, the light from a key turning off when you hit it and then slowly fading away, all of the LEDs around a key turning off when you hit it and then expanding outward, a line of lights going around the keyboard and then stopping before exploding. There are 3 flavors of this. A snake of LEDs winding its way down the keyboard, LEDs lighting up at random in a bit of a twinkling effect, each row of LEDs pulsing in a different direction, an LED wipe going back and forth, and finally a sine wave. As you can probably tell, these keys are quite clicky, though the M key is a bit quiet, at least when it has the keycap on. It sounds normal otherwise. And all in all, these keys don't really feel that bad to actuate. I will say that they are a little bit wiggly, and the W key did feel a bit gritty at the start, but that has since cleared up while working on this review. Sadly, I don't have any cherry blues to compare these to, but it doesn't sound all that dissimilar from my Altimu Blues. And that is the MageGee MK-Mini, a $23 to $25 60% mechanical keyboard. And do I think it's worth it? Sorta. It really comes down to if you want to get a 60% mechanical keyboard for the least amount of money possible, check out this keyboard. Especially since, in my personal opinion, the keyboards that are slightly more expensive but really only give you an additional color of LED per key row aren't worth it. I much prefer having monochromatic LEDs if those are my two choices. That being said, wireless 60% keyboards with full RGB are getting cheaper by the day. Like I said, the Lushujun DK61 I reviewed previously is currently under $40. And I've spotted several more in that price range. Heck, the price on mechanical keyboards in general is dropping so fast, I wouldn't be surprised to see one in Five Below for like $10 to $15 in the not too distant future. I mean, full-size and 10 keyless, aka TKL, mechanical keyboards are already popping up in the $20 to $25 range. And if you throw in sales and coupons, you can get a mechanical keyboard for like 15 bucks. And I think I've ranted on enough about that. However, if this little keyboard has piqued your interest, I will leave an Amazon affiliate link down in the description below. Who knows, maybe there'll be another sale or coupon soon and you can pick up this black and blue model for 20 bucks and the white or pink model for like 18. And on that note, until next time, this is your guy Cly, signing off.